Hey, I want to give you a tour of the new Whoopmaster 6 with Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K that we're rocking these days. So yeah, check this out. I've customized a lot of things on it, and I'll just kind of show you around it. Check it out. Starting out, you can see the Whoopmaster is pretty good size, and it is incredibly sturdy the way it's built. I just love this design. Yeah, it's just rock solid. You've got the option to put the Blackmagic Naked on here with this mount, and also you can use the other kind of more standard mount for regular cameras, basically anything that within the weight range. I think it's rated to fly a Komodo. I think some folks are saying that it's a bit sluggish with a Komodo, of course, compared to the lightweight of this camera, but it will do it, which is great, because, you know, quite frankly, even with the Blackmagic 6K, sometimes you are going to get on a shoot where they just are adamant that they need to use their red camera. So let me show you some things I've done here. I tested it without these bumpers because in the past with my QAV, I've got a QAV Cine that has sort of similar type of bumpers, and when I put those on here, it got super loud. So I was thinking, would this thing be quieter without the bumpers? So I took them off and tried it, and it was not really quieter. So that's cool. I put them back on. They're 100 grams total, but I think probably worth the weight. You see my feet here are custom. It actually came with these kind of straight up pointy feet that were hard. And so when you land, it's just a pretty hard bonk down. So these give it a bit of flex, which I like. I'll link to that design. Now I also actually changed up and I'm gonna fix this design better so it's easier, but the rear mount, it's a diversity, crossfire diversity, so you got two antennas, and I changed out this rear mount so that this antenna could be removed more easily and isn't hard mounted. This is for the Delkin juggler drive, which I use. I don't use CFast cards because they're just super expensive. So this actually just snaps in like that, and then you just run your cable right in there. So that's a custom piece. I just put a little piece of Velcro here for my tentacle, so I can just pop a tentacle on there and run the audio in, and basically gives me time code. This mount on top here, you can see, is off the back, or it's actually on the back sensor plate of the Naked Blackmagic 6K. And I'll show you the design file here. I can flash to it on screen. You can see how that basically works, and I made it so it's super sturdy. It's not only screwed onto the back there, but it's got these the thumb screws that hold the camera also now hold that back piece. And so what you end up with is the ability to just pop your bones right in there. Just slides right in, and just works great. It is absolutely secure. It's perfectly in line with the camera, with the main camera, and you can still see the lens enough that you get a reference shot. Basically, you're not gonna ever use that shot. You'd have too many things in the shot anyway, but I raised it up a little bit like that so that you at least have a good reference. Now this is something that's really cool. I need to fix this design here too. I made this guard that just snaps on and off of these standoffs. So it's easily removed, but it's definitely secure. But it guards the sensor ribbon, which is a real fragile point on this camera. I'm hoping to ultimately get a way to get a new 6K sensor ribbon. But it also protects the front here because I don't use those card slots, so I just wanted them protected. But I need to modify that slightly because it does make it's a little bit in the way of this jack, which is the 12 volt BEC. But it does work. I can plug that in, and then basically this cable that I made runs. I make adapters, so I have BT 2.0 for my Bones, and then also an XT30 that goes around over here for the main camera power. So I'll rig all that up and show you real quick. You can see how that's all rigged. And so I use this Delkin Juggler, which is a 1 terabyte drive that's rated for this. But then I've also got one of these SanDisk Pro, Extreme Pro, which is twice as fast even as that Delkin Juggler. So if I need to, I have this as my backup. I could just strap that down here. I might make an extra mount for that too. Take the carabiner off, obviously, but this would be a good drive to use for this thing too. Plenty fast enough. And then you just kind of do this. Kind of run this around in a good way. I'm looking for actually a good 90-degree USB for this. I would feel better about it. But yeah. Anyway, you can see this kind of stuff, like you tend to want to rig this and leave it. But since I was doing some work on this thing, I had it all taken apart. There we go. So that's rigged. And then you've got your HDMI jack is up under here. And also I have put the adapted monitor screen thing on here. So basically Straw Hat Sam makes this this cable kit, and you are able to replace this piece on the back of your screen. You get one of these, which I'm gonna finish putting together today, and then you get this other piece that goes inside here. And what that does is it allows you to plug in the screen for this thing without having to take the top plate off. Because before, in order to plug in the touch screen for the actual camera, I would have to take the top plate off of here, which is not cool. So this is maybe for another video, but I'm finishing up. I designed my own case for this actually, which I can link for you, but you can also buy this from Halo. Halo makes this kit that you can buy, or they make a screen, I guess, and then you can, and then he makes this design as well. So his is probably mine is not quite perfect yet, but I think it's going to be what I would call good enough for me, as long as, like, yeah, all the buttons will work. So I just basically have to finish putting mine together and start using it. And then what else do we got? I think that's the tour. So what we have here is a 12mm Samyang lens, and there's a good 9mm lens for this as well. There are, of course, a lot of lenses, but since he converted this to Sony E-mount, you have these lighter lenses that you can use, which is great. I can give a little up tilt there. And yeah, I think that's basically the tour. You can see stuff here with just the HDMI without having to hook up the main screen. But for certain things like switching between ProRes and Blackmagic RAW, you have to connect the original screen. So that's definitely good to have that. I've also put heat sinks on here. These are, I think, 10 by 20 by 5 mils tall. You got to have nice short ones. These are some little ones that I had. So I've just kind of, you know, giving this all the heat dissipating power it can have. Figure it can't hurt. I haven't had any hot problems, but you know, can't hurt. Get out on a desert shoot or whatever. And there's a groove here. This is the access plate for all the guts, and there's a groove. And basically, Neil was saying, you know, you can put silicone in here. Of course, you could do all kinds of things with this for a real great seal. I actually just made a TPU gasket, which I will share a link to. I fiddled with it for a while, and I got it fitting perfectly. Fits right in the groove, and it's just slightly taller. So when you put this down, let's see. So when this goes back on, that will go down and actually pressure fit against that gasket. Yeah, so also worth mentioning, I'm getting 7 to 8 minute flight times with this thing. And that's one real advantage of the Blackmagic on here, is that it's so lightweight. It's really good that way. So yeah, that's the tour. Now let me show you a little bit of the footage that I'm getting with this thing. Check it out. Good morning.
Morning.
We're out early on Sanibel. I'm gonna try to get some shots of the lighthouse here. So cracking into the gear. Looks like I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape. Yeah, so without a doubt, one of the best things about flying a camera like this versus a GoPro is low light, right? I mean, lens flares are one of the great things, certainly just kind of overall picture quality, but quite frankly, the Hero 10 has amazing picture quality if you have plenty of light. But if you get out in these kind of conditions and really feature the strengths of a camera like this, you can get incredible shots like these. I would say, of course, color correcting is not my strength. And these shots could be made to look a lot better by someone who really knows what they're doing with color grading. That said, recording straight to Blackmagic RAW like this gives you so much leeway. For these shots, I basically just set the aperture almost all the way wide open and just recorded at 400 ISO, because in post I can always go back in DaVinci and pick my ISO. I can pick all my settings up to 1000 ISO if I wanted to. For this stuff, I actually cranked it down to about 200 and cranked up the exposure just to where I wanted it, so the blacks are nice and clean. There's almost no noise reduction going on there. If any of you guys out there are checking this out are good with color grading, I'd be happy to share these clips with you and see what anybody else could do. But yeah, just wanted to share all of this, and I hope it helps somebody and you enjoyed it. Take care. See you soon. Like and subscribe.